I think it's important to inspire kids because they learn better that way. They are excited about school, they're happy to be there. Tower Pinkster is a 130-person architecture, engineering, and interiors firm with offices in Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo. We specialize in K-12, higher education, government, commercial, and healthcare design. K-12 design is my passion. It's been my life's work for the past 25 years. It's what I dream about every day and go to bed thinking about at night.
Here at the Battle Creek Area Math and Science Center, we are a competitive half-day high school program focusing on math, science, and technology.
We started by answering a proposal for this building in 2009. We studied multiple different facilities. The facility that they selected was the former Cero City Museum, which was donated by the Kellogg Company.
The building itself was designed to be a museum, and we were asking it to become a high school. And not only that, we were asking it to become a very, very technical high school. And a lot of structural changes needed to occur because of that.
So ultimately, the design challenge was to take an existing agrarian building with peaked roof forms and make that a very contemporary learning environment. So to start the design process, we held a 2-day visioning workshop with teachers, staff, and community members, and really started to pull out what the driving design guidelines would be, as well as space and adjacencies.
So Tower Pinkster actually worked hand in hand with both the staff of the school and students of the school, as well as district administrators and local businesses, to really construct a building that would allow us to do math and science instead of talk about math and science.
Our process is really to listen as much as possible because we find that creates the best architecture.
I do think that students were definitely the main thought when this building was designed. I think it was designed specifically for the best experience possible.
So the concept was really to plug in the different classroom spaces around the existing atrium. So where we added on to the building, we only added on at the 2nd and 3rd floor. So there's a V-shaped column at the entry, just something a little more interesting for the kids to study. It's actually a physics problem that the physics class goes in and tries to figure out how the building's being held up. We have a secure vestibule environment, which is common in K-12 design, such that you can come in through the first set of vestibule doors and then you're ushered through the office. Added to the middle of the atrium has 2 cantilevered landings. The bottom one is cantilevered just out into space, and the upper one is hung by cables from the roof, and that again is a physics problem. The stair itself wraps around a pendulum that's 2 stories tall, so that there's this constant motion as the kids kind of ascend through this space. So the idea of the atrium is really a 3-story learning community, and it's more of an open space. It's a room instead of a corridor, so that the kids can circulate through that space, but also stop and pause and have a conversation.
At the Math and Science Center, it's pretty much all common area. So there's a lot of time where I can interact with both students and teachers on a more one-on-one level.
The learning communities on all 3 floors are filled with soft seating in different arrangements, and that allows the kids to have project-based learning, participate in study groups where they come before and after school. It's really kind of their home. We really strived not to have corridors. This was a result of how we saw the kids working in their existing corridor building. They would sit on the floor, they wouldn't use the lockers, they would just put their backpacks in the hallways. It's a very trusting environment, and so there are no lockers. It's just soft seating and a space built around that.
We have lounge areas, we have cubbies for them to be a part of smaller groups and do what they need to do. We have tables everywhere. We have a foosball table for them to just kind of let loose.
On the 1st floor, there's also a tiered computer lab, such that all the students are faced forward for a lecture format, and then they turn around completely to work on the computer, and that allows the instructor to see their monitors and help them. But also then it breaks the student's connection with the electronic device and makes them physically turn around so that they can participate in the lecture.
Collaboration was a big idea behind the structure of this building and structure of the classrooms. The idea that classes need to interact with each other, that students need to interact with all the teachers, not just the ones that they currently have. And so like classrooms are connected to like classrooms.
So we tried to keep classrooms framed by more monolithic walls on 3 sides, and the side facing the learning community is actually structural glass, so that there's as much opportunity for passive supervision, but also several of the students and teachers write on the glass walls with China markers. On the second floor, it's biology with a greenhouse right at the corner. Biology rooms actually have a stair that goes directly outside, so the kids can go outside, get their waders, which are actually located underneath the stair, and then they can study and take water samples in the river right there as well. The chemistry labs are pretty significant. There's more fume hoods in there. They're really more of a college level chemistry lab. And in between them are both a glassware alley. The kids can just come in and get their glassware and get their lab coats and safety glasses and then go right back into the classroom.
The space is really what's critical for doing great teaching. The fact that we can have a room for direct instruction or perhaps small group work, and then working all the way in the laboratory. I don't have to worry about setting up and tearing down a lab within the same hour. I can pre-set it up, and the kids can go have an open space and work on their labs.
On the second floor, a cave space with built-in seating and exposed electrical theme is provided for small groups. On the third floor, 3-sided breakout rooms provide math and physics with team collaboration areas or one-on-one learning with teachers. The new third floor is shrouded in two-tone metal panels with punched openings inspired by mathematic patterns. Classrooms are bounded by monolithic walls with entries created by a serpentine glass weaving around the central collaboration space. This area is a 3-story atrium with circulation and museum-like places for study, collaboration, and reflection. The third floor physics lab includes a perch to drop objects from and measure the results.
So if you ever want to do a free fall experiment for physics, you can go out there. Instead of just a single meter drop, you're talking about a 10-meter drop off the edge of that one. So that's been a lot of fun.
So throughout the facility, there is the need for data cables. So we have a serpentine cable tray that's actually bright green. And so you have this phenomenon of dark ceilings and this bright green cable tray kind of weaving its way through space. And on the third floor, that culminates in the computer main distribution feed room. So that's where all those cables go to the servers. And what we did there was wrapped the MDF room in glass and put mirrors at the back of it so that kids can actually see the technology people working on the computers. It's actually inspired some people to go into that field.
I do think I'm inspired by the building and the facility a lot because you don't see stuff like this like anywhere. You see the exposed wires, and like a lot of people think that'd be like weird, but in this building it's like it makes you feel like you're in math and you're in science.
Inside that 3-story learning community, we really tried to tie all 3 floors back together by creating holes and allowing natural light to penetrate down through the space, but we also hung lights down from the 3rd floor down to the 2nd floor, and from the 2nd floor down to the 1st floor. And that helps tie the space together vertically.
When you come here, you have to remind yourself, where you actually are, because sometimes you get kind of lost in how amazing and different it is here.
We're not trying to fit an education facility into a building. We built a building for the education, taking into account what are the science teachers' needs, and I think that's a wonderful thing here at the building.
We are visited by universities from all around the country, MIT, Harvard, Yale, Stanford, and then all the local ones in Michigan as well. Without Tower Pinkster's input and support and help throughout this whole process, we would never have been able to create something on this scale. Because of them, we're able to do some really amazing things, both in Battle Creek and all throughout southwestern Michigan.
Everything about the building kind of inspires me to do more as a person. even if I'm just a student.
It's always very rewarding to go and see the students in the space after it's built. I spent some time in the Math and Science Center and just watching the kids circulate around and how excited they are for this space to be theirs. That's most rewarding as an architect.